US Federal Reserve has been constantly increasing the interest rates. India still has a lot of baggage from yesteryears. The economic growth is resilient. The fact that major Indian companies post-COVID have shown strong growth with healthy balance sheets. The main challenge for the European nations is to fight inflation. India is at a stage now where a lot of consumer durables are made in the country itself. The world is facing a crisis that is set to worsen. The Indian economy remains resilient despite formidable global headwinds and amidst fears of recession, the RBI said in its latest monthly bulletin. There are sparks in the wind that ignite the innate strength of the economy and set it on course to becoming the fastest growing economy in the world, the bulletin said. The sentiments were echoed by the RBI Governor, Shaktikanta Das. In an ocean of high turbulence and uncertainty, Indian economy is an island of macroeconomic and financial stability, Reserve Bank of India Governor Shaktikanta Das said during the post-policy press conference. The economic growth is resilient. Now, what makes the policymakers so confident about India? How is it that the Indian economy stays relatively safe when every other major economy is facing the Herculean task of avoiding what is being termed the biggest economic recession of the 21st century? To answer this question, we must take a two-pronged approach. We have to look at what makes the Indian economy strong, as well as what plagues the other major economies in the world. According to a report by S&P, the main reason behind the resilience shown by the Indian economy is the decoupled nature of the Indian economy with that of the world economy. The Indian economy is a lot more decoupled with the global economy than what we think, said Paul F. Grunwald, S&P Global Chief Economist and Managing Director. Indian economy after 1991 has been expanding with about a 6% GDP growth rate in comparison to the dismal 3% and below growth rate during the Nehruvian socialism days. India still has a lot of baggage from yesteryears, but overall the economy has been doing very well. Especially in the past 10 years, the Indian manufacturing has taken up pace, primarily due to rising demand of an ever-expanding middle class and also the technology-dependent nature of modern businesses. The fact is, India is at a stage now where a lot of consumer durables are made in the country itself, reducing the need to import basic needs, saving our forex reserves. Another aspect is the nationalist foreign policy, which has not only given the Indian elephant its teeth, but also ensured that during the energy crisis triggered by the Russia-Ukraine conflict, it does not affect the energy needs of the nation, something the Western powers have failed to do, leading to an unprecedented rise in fuel prices. Since India has handled the energy crisis expertly, it has left the nation with a sizable forex reserve. Add to that the fact that major Indian companies post-COVID have shown strong growth with healthy balance sheets. Economic fallout in many nations is triggered by the fallout in the US, and we will see how that actually works. But for the time being, we need to understand that US happens to be a net importer of goods from India, which is a major advantage. It protects the Indian rupee against the dollar surge. Now, even though India happens to be relatively decoupled from the global economy, the fact is that India is set to emerge as a major economic powerhouse, projected to grow at around 7% this year. We therefore must understand how the major world powers are facing the heat at the moment, so we may have our course cleared for the future. US Federal Reserve has been constantly increasing the interest rates to curb inflation. This has strengthened the dollar and made economies dependent on the dollar for energy import suffer. Situation in Europe is worse. At least in the US, they still have an unemployment rate under control, so the monetary policy by the Fed is able to provide some relief. Now, whether it will be a soft landing or not, only time shall tell. Same is not the case with the Eurozone and its former member Britain, both of which are suffering from structural economic issues, further escalated by the Russia conflict in the continent. Now, usually when inflation rises, the central bank increases the interest rates to curb inflation. This is a standard monetary policy. But in Europe, there are deep structural issues within the economy. The main challenge for the European nations is to fight inflation, even at the expense of an ever-slowing growth rate. The news on the Chinese front is also not blooming. According to the S&P report, The Chinese slowdown has been the worst in decades, with already lower projected growth rates of 5%, further slowing down to 3% or even less. It is evident here that the world is facing a crisis that is set to worsen. India has done well so far, but it is prudent that we continue to take the right steps and make sure we remain unmoved on our path to success. That was it for today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like it. Subscribe to the channel for similar content. Remember, if you can't apply it to your life, it's not practical. Take care of yourself and your families. God bless us all. Thank you.